Hi everybody, welcome back to the Drunken Bull Ranch. I'm Reed. So, I have determined that I am a great chicken whisperer. Check this out. Ta-da! The whole flock follows me. Okay, now that fence is electrified, so they won't touch it. But we're gonna unplug it. Maybe. There we go. And yes, it is working. So, hold on just a second. I'll show you what these birds do. I'm having some camera issues. Well, maybe. There we go. They just follow me. That's why I think I'm the great chicken whisperer. Okay, so I wanted to talk for a second. As you can see, I've got the two chicken tractors out right there. Now, that's the one we had last year. This one's the one I built this year. And I'm going to tell you, I don't like either one of them. I am just not a fan. Oh, by the way, they're all out there wandering around eating grasshoppers. Except for these four. They're still following me. But, oh, here's something else I did. I made that little feeder out of a piece of pipe. Well, I should say my father-in-law and I did. Out of a piece of pipe, 2 pieces of board. Works pretty good. But, getting back to these chicken tractors. I'm not going to say that Joe Salatin got it wrong. Okay? They work. They're just a pain in the butt. Now, I'm going to say that we have lost 6 out of 50 of the chickens. 3 of them were, well, okay, 2 were natural causes. They just died. 3 of them had some kind of an injury. And I'm betting it was from moving these guys. Anyway, so I've just elected not to move them anymore. Well, alright, I'm moving them once a week. I'm moving the fence that you can see behind me and giving them a large area that they can be in. And yeah, just moving those once a week. I'm actually only going to move one of them. We have another 50 birds showing up next week. So I'm going to use one of those for them. But I am going to move this fence and get them set up in another spot. So anyway, like I said, when you're farming, you got to do what works for you. And I just did not, well, okay, I've been working a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean 60 plus hours a week. And just don't have time to come out and move these things and care for them the way that I want. And so, in the interest of saving time and energy, I have elected just to put up the electric fence, let them run free. I mean, you can see them out here. These guys are decimating the grasshoppers, which is awesome because we've just been overrun by them. My garden is in bad shape. I'll show you that in a minute. But they just run out there and they just start eating grasshoppers. The cows don't bother them. I mean, the other 2 cows are over there. The only thing, like I said, we had 2 that died of natural cause. We had 3 that had some kind of an injury where they had either broken a leg or something of that nature. And then we had 1 that, well, how to say this? He met the dogs, and the dogs weren't very nice. So, yeah, anyway, let me get this moved. Okay, so I moved the chicken tractor, and now I just gotta set up the fence again. Bird. Okay, so let me readjust this camera. All right, so I like to start in the corner where I'm gonna hook up the wire to the fencing because it's just easier for me. So here we go. Hey, knock it off. What are you doing? Hey, stop it. Stop. Hey, come on. Come on. Get. Come on. Come on. Grab. You can't be in here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Grab. Get out of here. Don't walk on the fence. Come on. Get. Hey. Okay, so you can see that I moved it over. It's all set up there. Now, I mean, it's not a perfect square, but it'll work. Anyway, and then I can tie this wire in right here. Oh. I just loop it through a couple of times. What are you doing, Red? Don't play with the camera. Anyway, so when I come back out here and hook this thing up later, then Red's saying hi. Hi, buddy. Hi. Anyway, when I come out and I hook this thing up later, basically, when it gets hot, the chickens will go back in underneath the shade of that thing, and then I can close it up, and it protects them from whatever may come after them, other than, I mean, it doesn't protect them from the sky, so a hawk could get one or something like that, but that hasn't happened yet. We've lost more than our own dogs. So, yeah, it works pretty good. And like I said, I move the feeder, put the feeder in here, and I will let them go for about a week right here. And they eat the grass, they fertilize, they eat the grasshoppers, the bugs, all of that. And then we're letting them out all the time too. But anyway, so there you go. Okay, so I wanted to show you this. You can see where I had them originally. Right there. It's kind of the same. And yeah, so that ground's been worked over pretty good. Lots of fertilizer. And hopefully it'll grow better. But we'll have to get some water on it. And they've cut our water back, so that's kind of hard to do. Basically, I'm allowed to run my sprinklers for about 4 hours is all. Which doesn't do a whole lot. Anyway, as I mentioned, I was going to take you over to the garden and show you what's happened there, which is not that exciting, but we're going to do it anyway. So, like I said, I've been working a lot of hours, so don't judge me too much. Okay, go ahead, but here goes. See those grasshoppers? Look at them on that rhubarb. Isn't that crazy? I mean, look at all these guys. Everywhere. Now, I'm going to say that this has been happening everywhere around here. Look at that rhubarb. Those grasshoppers have just destroyed it. Now, the garden watered last night, and I got to get out here and get some weeding done. And we had a windstorm too. But I will say that we did get 2 zucchini last night. That was, other than radishes, the first thing we've gotten off of the garden so far this year. I'm just straightening out a cage. Excuse me. And yeah, I gotta fix this. There we go. So, yeah, let me shorten this camera up and do some zooming for you. But that's supposed to be cabbage right there. This one's not as bad. This one's, yeah. But, I mean, they have eaten everything. Over here is the worst of it. This used to be beans. Now, it's been overtaken by weeds right there, which I need to get out. But they ate the peas. Where's a good example? See that bean? And that bean. And I was going to show you, here's one that they just destroyed it. Anyway, yeah, the grasshoppers are doing terrible things to us, and me not being around as much is doing terrible things to us. So, yeah. Anyway, the garden is suffering. Now, I will say this. Some of my neighbors have been spraying for grasshoppers. I'm not going to say it's all that effective. And the bad thing about it is after one of my neighbors sprayed for grasshoppers, I watched a whole flock of sandhill cranes go through and eat all the poisoned grasshoppers. And I went, well, that's fabulous. Anyway, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but it is a little rough on the wildlife, and it is rough on the garden. I was going to show you this also. See these guys? They're all on the shed. They are everywhere. Excuse me. Sorry, I've been hauling hay lately and it gets my allergies going. Okay, well, we'll continue on with some other things and see if we can't find a solution to some of these grasshoppers. So, one other thing. We started extending this bed, and so far, I've gotten to there. Now, one thing that I did do for the grasshoppers was I brought the turkeys out here. And turkeys are doing well. But the grasshoppers seem to avoid them pretty well. But I think those turkeys are looking pretty good. Anyway, and I can't remember if I showed you guys my little turkey shelter. It's just pallets, just like I did with the pig pen, except I put a roosting bar right there, hung their feed there. So yeah, I will say that the turkeys did make a significant dent in the grasshoppers in the garden, but there's just so many of them that I don't think they can eat that many. Anyway, so let me move on to a couple other things and we'll go from there. Okay, so the next thing is I'm out here at the pig pen. Let me show you. It has been really hot out here on the west half of the country. Been averaging 100 degrees. I realize that a lot of the country's been dealing with a hurricane, and I feel for them. But I guess that's why I choose to live here in Utah. But like I said, it has been record-breaking heat, and this is what the pigs have done to their pen. They tip the water over so they can lay in it. Now, I generally give them a place to wallow, and yeah, they decided it wasn't big enough, so they made a bigger one. Anyway, the little porkers are doing pretty good. There's Wilbur. Somebody suggested we name him Wilbur, so we named him Wilbur. And yeah, they're doing pretty good. But the heat, the flies have been getting terrible. I wanted to put them out on the pasture, but then I thought they'd destroy the pasture. So the backfield, I'm gonna have to replant it anyway. So I may try and put them out there and give them some fresh grass, so to speak. But anyway, right now I've got to feed them their grain for the day. So give me just a second. Now I always feed them in 2 spots. Now the reason I feed them in 2 spots is just that there's not as much competition. You can see the Tamsworth sow over there. We call her Red too, just like the cow. And she's eating over there, the others are eating over here, but then they'll go over and join her. And that way there's not as much competition. Now, I gotta go over and feed Mr. Pig because he's separated. And the wife and I were talking about breeding these guys again. I think we will, but I'm just a little hesitant, I guess. Oh, I should also show you this. There is all the hay that we got off the fields. Now some of the bells obviously didn't turn out so great, but yeah, there's a little over 200 bells there. So hopefully that will be enough to get us through the winter, and we'll be all right. So Mr. Pig here is enjoying his breakfast. I'm going to say that he's taken to rolling that feeder around. It's kind of an annoyance. He was knocking over his water every day, and I need to clean it out but there's his water. I wired it to the fence. You can see that he's doing the same thing. He's laying in it, creating a wallow. I had a wallow for him right there, but he's making his own over there. Now, the other thing that he's doing is he's wrecking his shelter. You can see that the tin is off the back, and he literally would just get underneath it and tip it over. And he used to do that to his water. When I wired the water to the fence, he started playing with his feeder, then he started playing with his shelter. I think he's just bored, to be honest. But he's a big pig, and he can pretty much do whatever he wants when he wants to do it. So, yeah. Got a few things to figure out there. But crazy. I'm just looking at all the stuff the wind blew around. Anyway, yeah, it is just hot, and the pigs are trying to stay cool, and that's how they do it. So I'll get busy and get their pen cleaned up a little bit and get their waters filled up and cleaned out, because like I said, they get covered in mud and then they lay in them and then they tip them over, and yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, so I think that's about it for this video. I'll do some other stuff here in a little bit. Bye. Oh, I forgot to tell you, support your local farmers. Have a great day. Bye.